All right, what's going on?
Oh, what's poppin'? What's poppin'? I'm about to give a presentation in front of my whole family
Woo!
about being a furry in my fursuit. Like, what? So, yeah, I'm excited.
So how you feeling? Feeling good?
Yeah. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling nervous, but I feel good.
Oh yeah.
We got our trusty cameraman behind the scenes.
Indeed.
So, yeah, I know. I'm excited though.
All right, give me a twirl. What are you showing off today?
Yeah, all right. So I got here's my fit. The flannel.
Indispensable.
Flannel. Got the sunglasses.
Indispensable.
Glasses, jacket, shirt. They call me glasses, jacket, shirt man. Got the shoes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The kicks.
I got the kicks. Got everything I need.
Oh yeah.
I think we're ready to go. I think
You know
we're
what
ready
this
to
is
go.
gonna be? You know what this is gonna be?
Huh?
Awesome.
This is gonna be awesome. Alright,
All right.
let's go. Anyways, I'm a furry. This is my presentation about being a furry. So, what is a furry? The term furry describes a diverse. So yeah, that's a pretty long definition from fur science, but I figured it'd be more effective if I put it in my own words. Fur science, by the way, is a great informative furry database, kind of like they do a lot of studies at cons and they just interview people outside of cons, so it's a great way to learn more about the furry fandom if you have any questions, furscience.com. But, in my own words, furry is a community based off the appreciation of art of anthropomorphic animals. So, that's kind of like a hard thing to grasp, because they're like, what do you mean, like appreciation of art of anthropomorphic animals, like what is that? So, one of the ways that people kind of express themselves in the furry fandom is through VR chat. I personally don't play this, I'm not involved in this, but VR chat is essentially a huge online system of chat rooms where people can, and the main draw is that they're in virtual reality. So they have like their VR headset, and they what they're seeing in the game is like directly on their eyes, so it looks like they're actually seeing it. It's really cool. But basically they get to have their own personal furry avatar. They get to walk around and meet people who are like them, and also have their own furry avatars too. And it's really cool, and there's a lot of funny shenanigans that happen. But I don't know, because I've never played it. But you can look it on YouTube and like find some stuff. But how I am mostly involved in the furry fandom is furry conventions. So this is the biggest furry convention, over 15,000 attendees about a month ago, which is the biggest that's ever happened. It's basically, all the furries come from all around the world. I met some people from Germany, met some people from Ireland, some from Japan, but all around the world, and they come and they just go to these conventions and gather. And they're basically, the furry community in general is similar to any fan community, except for it's decentralized. So what that means is a lot of fan communities have one central piece of media that they're around. So for example, if you're in a comic community and you're really a big fan of a big superhero, for example, that's centralized because you all have that one central piece of media that you're all a fan of. However, furry fandom is decentralized. So there's not that uniting piece of media. There's a lot of media and a lot of artists and artwork that furries are kind of fans of. So that's what's unique about it. All right. Here's the history of furry. So, it actually originated as a spin-off from comic conventions in the 1980s. So the first, furry gatherings were at comic conventions. They had their own separate furry parties. They just had these private room parties that, they started inviting more and more people, and eventually was enough to warrant their own conventions. The fandom was kind of originally based off of mailing lists of fan-made comics and drawings. What they would do is they'd have these mailing lists of people who wanted to receive these comics and drawings and stuff, and every month they would send out these lists. And it took a long time for people to actually see each other's work and actually connect with other people, but that was before the internet existed, that's how they did it. Furry fandom's always been very inclusive. So the first furry convention in 1989 called Conference Zero in Southern California. It was founded by these two, Mark Merlino and Ron O'Reilly. They were openly gay in 1998, which in that time period, it was pretty unacceptable to be openly gay.
98 or 89?
Oh, 89, I'm sorry. I said that wrong. Yeah, so 1989. So that was kind of a big deal back then, and they actually received a lot of pushback from within the fandom and outside of it, but they're basically the founding members of the furry fandom. And then the first persona, which I'll talk about later, created by a person of color artist. This is Ken Sample, and this is his persona, Ken Cougar. And if you want more information about this, look up The Fandom by Ash Kayuga on YouTube. It's a great documentary, about an hour long, and it covers like the origins and where the fandom kind of started. So, and again, this is another picture I have. This is one of the comics that was one of the more popular ones in the mailing list that I talked about earlier.
Oh, they were. Oh, never mind.
All right, so what are personas or fursuits? Because I said this word a lot, and you're like, what does that mean? Okay, I'll tell you what it means. Personas are highly individualized characters that represent someone. So, for example, my persona is Arca. It's a German Shepherd. Yes. Most people have one. I have one. Some people have several. But usually you just have one that's kind of like your persona. It's like used to identify you. Commonly represented through art and commissions. This is a commission I got from my fursuit maker, and it's me with my sunglasses and juggling some tennis balls. Back when I still juggle tennis balls, so I don't do that anymore because like they're so passe. Fursuits are the physical costumes. So personas are like the concept. Fursuits are the costume, and they're the physical costume which represents the persona. Only actually about 25% of furries own a fursuit, and actually even less than that, which is 10%, own a fursuit, which is it's called a full suit, which is covering the whole body. I have what's called a mini partial, so I have the head and the paws and the tail. But you can get more. A full partial includes feet, paws. Should be down here. Boom, boom. But yeah. So and they're very expensive. I paid $1,200 for this set. But generally, what I would have would cost around $2,500. So I got it very cheap. And then full suits can go for around $5,000. So yeah, it's obviously it makes sense why not a lot of furries own a fursuit. It's really hot, by the way. The types of fursuits. There's a lot of different types. Got toonie, realistic, kimono, and other. So this is my friend Adobe. This is a toonie. It's more based off of Western style animation. I also have a toonie fursuit, and it's just kind of like silly and goofy. This is my friend Chrono Wolf. This is his realistic suit, even though it's like, how is that realistic? He has like orange eyes. Well, it's like realistic. The costume type is realistic. Bro, this guy he plays like guitar in his fursuit at like cons and like on stage. He's like a DJ and plays guitar, and it's like really cool. This is my friend Cassidy. Cassidy has a kimono suit, so it's more based off of anime and like Eastern style of animation. This is my friend Rave, and this is what's called a protogen. So it's basically like a toonie fursuit, except for this is all like an electronic visor. And he can press buttons which change the expressions on his face, which is like really cool. So there's a lot of variety. There is so much variety. If you go to a con, you will never see the same type of fursuit twice. It's just like so much individuality. It's crazy. But yeah, personas and fursuits are not the same thing. Concepts, costume. So, what are conventions? Okay. There's a lot of different types of conventions. So I talked about this one earlier. It's the largest fur convention, Midwest Fur Fest. 15,000 people went to it, so it's like a lot of people.
And where was that?
That was in December. So it's in Rosemont, Illinois, which is by Chicago. And yeah, it's enormous. This is the first ski and aquatifur. They're both in Wisconsin, but first ski is like a ski outing. So you just go skiing with your like furries. It's so cool. And then aquatifur is held at a water park. That's actually the Chula Vista in Wisconsin Dells.
How does that work?
You don't go in your fursuit in the actual water.
Okay.
Some people go skiing in their fursuit, which is absolutely insane. I would never do that. But in aquatifur, they have the con space, which is where you have your fursuits on, and then in the water park, you just go chill and go down the pedal slide.
I was gonna say.
Yes. There's a lot to do at cons. There's a lot of do cons. You got panels, which is where you have someone who's giving a presentation, or maybe have a meet and greet where you just meet people who are similar to you. Fursuit parade, get all the fursuits, it's a first parade. Dances and dance competitions, I'm really into that, and I'll talk about that later. And lots and lots of photos. There are so many photos. If a con has happened, you can easily find it online because they are so well documented. For literally, look up any convention in any year on YouTube, and you can find at least 5 different videos of someone made of it. So they're very well documented. Okay, so you're like, okay. I know what this is. Why did you do this? Please, help me understand. Okay. So here's how it started. 2016. I was first interested. I was really afraid to tell anybody because obviously it's really taboo, and a lot of people in high school would make fun of me for it if I told them. So I was really, really like, I never told anybody. 2018, I first like expressed myself in Discord, and I started telling people online. Yeah, convention. So first furry convention was Aquatifer, which I talked about before, in Wisconsin Dells. This is a picture from our first con. It was pretty rad. It was a huge culture shock. Like, it was crazy. One thing I just really loved about it is everyone was so accepting, like I mentioned before. Everyone's so unique. Everyone has their own personality. And everyone, like, just accepts you no matter what you want to come as. Like, they'll take you as you are. And, you know, like, it was a great, like, opportunity for me to just be like, oh my gosh, no one knows me. I can just present myself as who I want to be. And I thought that was really magical. And I had, like, a 30-minute breakdown when I was leaving. I did not want to leave. It was really, really sad. So, but I got over it. So cons in general, I love hosting panels. I hosted Ultimate Werewolf at cons before. I've hosted like meet and greets at cons. I'm really into fursuiting. Obviously, I have a fursuit. I'm gonna wear it. Like, so I love fursuiting, just walking around, making friends. Dance performances. I do dance competitions. So I love dancing in suit. And then I go to the raves, which is when they have a DJ on stage, and everyone's like. Like that. Everyone's raving, so. Those are my favorite things to do at cons. First date. About my first date. It's about a year old, so I got him in November 13th, 2022, made by Big Snoot Suits. That's their logo right there. They have a big snoot. Yeah, what I like doing it, so I like making new friends. If you're in fursuit, I find it's really easy. You kind of like break down the barrier between like you seem more anonymous, if that makes sense. You're more approachable, and you find it easier to approach other people. Like going up to new people is kind of intimidating sometimes because you have like. But if you're in a fursuit, you're just a goofy animal. Like you can go up to other people, and other people come up to you, and no one takes you seriously. And that's kind of like magical. It's such a unique thing, and I can just like, it makes it really easy to make new friends. Just being goofy, like I can do some things in fursuit that I can never do out of suit. Like if I want, at one con I went to earlier this year, first squared, I found a shoe off the highway, and I was like running around with the shoe, like it was like a shoe, and I was just like playfully like throwing it at people. I could never do that if I was just like random. I could not go up to a stranger and just like throw a shoe at them if I was like, I didn't throw it hard. But like, I can't do that if I'm not. So it's like, I can do so many, I can act on impulse, it's so much fun. Taking a lot, I have so many pictures, like, yeah, I have a lot of pictures. That's my, it says I want cake. Yeah.
Did you want cake?
I did, and I got cake. I got it. It worked. Yep, that's what you have to be assertive and promote yourself. Dancing. I love doing floor wars. In or out of suit. That's from Anthrocon. It's an improvised dance battle, so it's like a tournament dance battle. And what you do is you like have some music that's playing, and then you go up against your other person, and you're just like dance off, and then the winner gets to go on to the next round. It's super cool. The first 5 times I did this, I got out of the first round. Every single time of the first 5 times I did it. So I'm actually pretty bad at it. But recently at Aquatifer, I made it to semifinals in my Elsa costume. Like I dressed up as Elsa, and I was trying to lose, and I won. Like I made it to semifinals. So it was like, bruh. First dance competition. This is more rehearsed. This is choreographed. This is what I'm working on right now because I procrastinated. But this is always in fursuit. Generally, you have to have a head pause, tail, and feet pause to do that. And then also like doing raves. I'm big into hosting dance circles, so I go to the very front, go to the middle of the audience, and I'm like, everybody back up, everybody back up. And then I start dancing in the middle. And then I get out of the middle, I'm like, okay, who's next? I get somebody else to dance. And then I do that for like 4 hours. So yeah, it's like okay, it's a lot of fun though. It's a great way to get people into dancing. Like going to dance circles, they're also called ciphers in the dance community. It helped me get into dancing. Like I was never really much of a dancer, and then I got involved in these dance circles, and people were actually like giving me feedback. I didn't feel super uncomfortable with going and just like dancing in front of a huge group of people, but I got pushed into it, and I was like, well, like screw it, I guess I'll dance. And so yeah, it got me that taste of a performance, and I found that I really enjoyed it, and by doing this, I have helped so many of my friends get into dancing. Like I have brought so many more people into the dance community because of doing this. So it's a really great way to get a little taste. All right, questions you were too afraid to ask directly. I'm going to help you all out a little bit and just address some of them. Okay, number 1. Uh-oh. Well, I guess we're done.
Stingray's greatest hits.
Someone help. Should I call you by your persona name, Arca, instead of... The answer? No, you don't really have to do that. This is just a costume, it's just a character. It's not like a new identity or anything. It's just like, sometimes I like dressing up. It's no more than cosplay or... Yeah, it's really just cosplay. So like, for example, if I was dressing up as Spider-Man for Halloween, you don't have to call me Spider-Man in February. Like, I dressed up as Spider-Man once. Like, let it go. Like, if I'm in costume and I'm in character, you can call me Arca if you want. I'll respond to it. It's really up to you, but like, just the same thing. If I was dressed up as Spider-Man, you can call me Spider-Man and it's not weird. Second thing. Do furries want to put litter boxes in schools?
Yes.
No, they don't. They do not. They do not. They do not. No, they do not want to put litter boxes in schools. That's made up by conservative extremists. Number 3, do furries spend all their time in their fursuits? The answer is, we actually barely get to spend any time in our fursuits. So I only get to wear my fursuit at cons or when I'm doing like special stuff like this. Most of the time, it just kind of stays in the box. Yeah, it just stays in my plastic like Tupperware storage container thing. Yeah, so also like they take a lot of work to keep in good condition, and if we were wearing them all the time, they would deteriorate very quickly. Fursuits they're pieces of art, they're wearable art, and you don't want your art to look bad, so you kind of only wear them on such locations. And then
it's really hot to wear them.
They're very hot, yes. And then another question that I might have been anticipating. How often do you wash fursuits, or do you wash them? The answer is yes, you do have to wash fursuits. It depends how they're made. If you're sweating in a fursuit, you should probably wash it. Generally for light cleaning, for me anyways, I have a bottle of isopropyl alcohol that I use to spray inside of my hand paws, right here. I spray on the inside and inside of my head. And it's called fursuit spray, which is made up of 50% isopropyl alcohol, 50% of water, and it's really, really good at killing germs and killing odors. So that's pretty much all you really need to use for light cleaning. If you are a full suiter or if you've had it for a while like me, you will occasionally have to do deep cleaning. So and that's you just like soak it into a tub full of water combined with water detergent, get it in everywhere, and then soak that out with water, and then let it dry very carefully so mildew does not form. But yes, furries wash their fursuits. I would say that some furries do smell bad, and do not shower enough. I've had my encounters with them. They're few and far in between. I will say that, like, maybe 3 I've encountered in my life where I was like, oh my gosh, like, please take a shower. And I told them, I was like, dude, go take a shower now, like, you smell. So, those are the 4 questions I was thinking. Yeah, any questions? Like, I'm gonna answer, like, okay.
Why did you choose a German Shepherd?
Honestly, like, I just feel like it kind of resonated with me a lot. It wasn't something that I had an active choice. When I started in the furry community, I just kind of always had a German Shepherd avatar, and I was like, I just like German Shepherds. I don't know. They're not even my favorite species of dog or anything. I they're not, but I just feel like it represents me a lot, and that it's just I just kind of had always that connection to it. So, yeah.
How did you hear about this in the first place? Like to get interested in it when you were in 2016?
Oh my gosh. I forgot.
I was wondering the same thing.
I really don't know. I think I probably was like talking to someone online about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're not a furry, right?" I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" And then I looked it up online. I'm like, maybe I don't know. So it wasn't like there was this big awakening for me. It was just kind of like, as soon as I knew about it, I just kind of knew I was one. So I don't know. I don't know if that answers. I'm sorry. I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah.
I would consider it general culture for people our age to know.
Yeah.
To know what?
To just know what it is.
Oh.
Well, not like what it is, but like
just
they
to-
exist.
Yeah.
With, like, a
Everyone
bunch of
our
di-
age would just have heard of it and he probably searched it up just
Yeah.
hearing about it.
Yeah. Aaron.
What do you think causes the general negative stigma around furries?
People are actually generally afraid of things that are different and things that aren't like them. Also, like I mentioned earlier, the furry fandom is very inclusive. I mean, like, there's always been a narrative against queer people. Even more so nowadays, drag performers and transgender people are being labeled as being pedophiles or being rapists, and which is entirely untrue. Yeah, people are just afraid of things that are different from them. People see. I mean, like, I'm a little bit jaded. I think there's a little bit of jealousy as well. You see people and videos having a lot of fun, and you're like, whoa, I'm stuck in my mom's basement. I don't know how to have fun. And then you like make up like crap about them on the internet, and there you go. So, but yeah, I think it's just like it's different. It's weird. So people don't like it. Okay. Also, one more thing. To add to that, there have been a few pieces of very influential negative pieces of like media that has influenced the public's perception of furries. In particular, there's like a CSI episode or something. There's a few like mainstream TV shows that had like furry episodes. I think Smosh also had one where they just portrayed furries in a very negative light. And I don't know. I think also like so Midwest Fur Fest was kind of I was talking about earlier. The biggest one. There was a chlorine gas attack in 2014. And it hospitalized, I think, about 90 people. But how the news kind of handled that was by making fun of it and laughing at that. And I think that brought up actually a lot of negative attention to the fandom. There's a very active community of like anti-furries that are just trying to harm furries in any way they can. Thankfully, it seems to be a lot of people who are like under the age of 18 and actually can't do anything. But yeah, there's a lot of people who really don't like us.
So I'm going to invite you to push back on the question if it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
But is being a furry, and answering either for yourself or for the larger community, whichever is appropriate, is being a furry something that you are or is something that you do?
It's something that I am.
Okay.
For some people, it's something that they do, but for me, it's like it's become ingrained enough to my personality that it's something that I am. I think, and I would compare it a lot to being a sports fan. A lot of people wouldn't say they do sports fan stuff. They just are a sports fan. If you grew up a Packers fan, you are a Packers fan. You identify with being a fan of the Packers community. I'm the same way. I've always been like a furry fan, and I identify as being a furry.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was kind of wondering about, kind of just on the same like wave. So you mentioned about how this is very similar to cosplaying and kind of is, and how you just wear it during fans, and it's like, it seems like the way you're portraying it is like a more passive thing, but you also are making it, you've made this presentation and made it more of a, like, this is an important part of my life. And so I'm confused, it feels like a conflict, if that makes sense, of something, I do this like twice or 3 times a year, versus like, this is me.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that, and I think it's really hard because for me and a lot of other furries in the fandom, they don't get to spend as much time like actively in the furry community as they like would like to. I mean, although I like to think like I would say talking about furry and thinking about conventions takes about like 90% of my conscious mind. It takes a lot. I think about it a lot. But I don't go to that many a year. Like I've only been to like 30 days worth of furry conventions in my entire life. So it's like. It is pretty good, but it's not the 7 months I want, but yeah, and I would say it's just like, I mean, if you're a big fan of a sports game, I don't know, you think about like you're a huge fan of the Packers. You can spend a lot of time thinking about Packers and a lot of time talking about Packers, but going to Packers game and actively participating in that doesn't really take up that much time. And maybe you want to go to more Packers games, but for a lot of furries, the cost is prohibitive. So. That was a really rambling. I hope that answered your question.
Kind of.
Okay.
Is there a local community where you live that you don't have to just wait to go to a convention, that you can gather in someone's home and be together?
Yes, asterisk. So there is like in a lot of different places there is kind of local communities that are like active. In La Crosse I think like there's 2 furries that we kind of interact with usually, but it's never like big gatherings, just kind of like hanging out like friends. In Madison, there's monthly there's like nightclub meetups that I used to be able to go to, but I can't anymore because it used to be 18+, but now it's 21+. And there's also furry bowling events that happen every month, I think. So you usually have to travel, yeah.
There's a group in Minnesota, I think it's called the Minnesota Furs, is that right?
Yeah.
And they have meetups, I don't know, let's say quarterly or something.
No, they have bi-weekly dinners, and then
Got
there's
Perkins.
yes, Perkins. And then there's like other bigger events than that, like the picnic, and they have a con that they host too.
Yes. Furry migration. If any of you are interested in going to a con ever, just throwing it out there, Furry Migration is an amazing con. I had a lot of fun there. It is hosted in the Twin Cities on early September, so it's a lot of fun. They have free food, which is like, what? You have free food? It's good. It's good food too. They got like pancakes. They got the free fruit. They got the candy. Like it was everything. And they got rice, ramen. Like they literally had everything. It was so wonderful. And also like it's a furry convention, so yeah.
But the free food.
Yeah, I like to say, like, come on, don't miss the main point here.
Phase of your life. Do you think that when you're my age, you will still be a furry? Or do you think it's something you might outgrow?
I don't know.
Because I don't.
I don't know, it's okay. I might outgrow it. I mean, like, I might find something that comes along that's better. Personally speaking, I feel like I've made a very huge impact in the furry community already. And I feel like I've also been very impacted in the furry community. But specifically with dance and also like in fursuiting, I feel like I have done a lot of good. And like hosting panels, people have told me that I've changed their life and I've made them feel more accepted and help them. And I feel like I'm making a big difference here. Yeah, I mean I feel like right now I'm very involved in it. But again, as I get older, like I'll probably dance less. My body always won't be like this. I won't always be like. Yeah, but I'm just gonna see. There are a lot of people stay in the fandom when they get older, though, and yeah, there's a lot of they call them gray muzzles, but people who are that's what it's called. Sorry, phrase love puns. But there's a lot of people who are older and more well established and have been around for a while. So, especially in the dancing community too, they kind of stick around for a while. So.
Those two guys from California who established it, how old were they when they, back in 1989?
I think they were in their 30s. So, do the math in your head. I don't know, I'm a dog, I can't do math. So.
Are they still involved, you know?
So kind of like going back to the whole like gay thing, they actually received a lot of pushback from within the fandom. There was kind of like a big crisis that happened in the early 2000s, late 1990s, where there was a lot of they called themselves the Burn Furs, and they were just basically like against anything LGBT, any sort of like public display of affection that wasn't like straight, Christian, etc. So they kind of got kicked out of the fandom by that group, but as time's gone on, people have become more accepting of LGBT. They've become more integrated. And they still host panels at Anthrocon every year, I believe.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they hosted one last year. I did not go to it because I was probably doing something else. I don't know, but yeah, they're involved still.
Oh, I have a question. Is also more common among boys or girls? Is that pretty?
Yes. I don't know the exact numbers. I should. They're on First Science if you want to look them up. FirstScience.com. But yeah, it's a lot. It's more common. The most common like group of people in the fandom is cis men, but I think like furries are something like 10 times more likely to be transgender than a random person from the sample population. Yeah. Yes.
Totally random question. Your sunglasses? They have the sunglasses?
Yeah.
You also have a pair of those.
Yeah.
I was wondering which came first. Like, did you buy that and then you?
No, okay, so the other pair, the tag fell off too many times and I didn't bother replacing them. So the other sunglasses are like, they aren't the sunglasses, but these are the only sunglasses left. The human sunglasses were the original ones.
Oh, okay.
And how that actually happened was I got like a bunch of merch from DECA in high school and everything was labeled. So the t-shirt was labeled t-shirt and I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever. And so I glued the sunglasses tab on. And then I changed the sunglasses to a different pair of sunglasses, and then just become like my brand identity. I don't know. So.
And then they made the outfit for you with the sunglasses.
These are removable. So. I just choose to wear them, but you can put them on any fursuit you want. Fursuits generally have around the same dimensions because people's heads are kind of the same dimensions. But yeah, you put them on. They make it a lot harder to see, but I think
They look very cool.
yeah, I know they look so cool. So this is me without my sunglasses. This is my cool look. Yeah. They're also 3D printed, so it's a company named Fursuit Glasses, and they do all types of stuff. They make other things that aren't like shuttered, so you can actually see out of them. They make some with lenses too. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Where can you see out of?
Okay, with my sunglasses off, my vision is like here.
It's out of the eyes.
Yeah, I can see out of the eyes.
Yeah,
It's like a net mesh.
Yeah, it's a mesh.
Yes, I can see through the eyes.
Oh, so the black part.
He can see through all of it.
Even the white.
Yeah, but it's the whole thing.
Because it's like
Yeah.
mesh, but it's painted on one side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually see, and I can see through pretty well, but my vision extends from here, and I have a little like line in the middle, so
Okay.
about this tall. So if I move around a lot, I can like whenever I'm talking, I like to move around a lot because I can see everybody and have like greater perception.
And then it just looks like you're a hybrid puppy and it works.
Exactly. That's what they gotta do. So yeah. Any other questions? Okay, we're done.
Yay!
Yay!